Hello and good evening, everyone. Greetings for the day. I am Anuja Purohit from All About Skin Wellbeing. I'm sure all of you must be keeping good health and enjoying this monsoon time. We all know taking good care of our skin is really important, not just for our appearance, but our overall health. Because as the largest organ of our body, our skin becomes the most essential to our overall health. But some conditions may seriously affect our skin health. One of them is fungal infection. A fungal infection is very common on your skin and also on nails. Fungal infection, or called mycosis. These are the diseases caused by a fungus, yeast, or mold. Mild fungal infection may look like a rash and it can be itchy and really irritating. So, let's connect today with our skin expert, Dr. Tanushka Pereira, live from Goa, to enlighten us on the topic of fungal management. Welcome, Dr. Tanushka Pereira, on our live session today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Viewers, Dr. Tanushka Pereira is a highly rated board certified dermatologist, MBBS MD, based in Goa, India. She specializes in diagnosing and treating various skin, hair, and nail conditions, offering expert advice on everything from fungal management to summer skincare routines. So, today, Dr. Tanushka Pereira will share with us on fungal management. Dr. Tanushka, over to you.
Yeah. So when you say the word
So,
fungal infection,
yes.
actually, it's a very broad term. So a lot of times people come to our clinics thinking that fungal infection is a seasonal thing. But in my
Okay.
practice, I would say, having starting that, fungal infection is a all year round infection.
All
So
right.
knowing and patient's awareness is one of the key in management of it. So before managing it, I think it's very important that we diagnose it correctly. So
Absolutely.
first of all, yeah, yeah.
So
Uh,
let's start with very basic thing. What is fungal infection? How a person can understand that he or she is having a fungal infection?
yeah. So that's a good question actually. So the basic thing is when you start with a fungal infection, it always is itchy. So they start having this itchy rash, which they think it is kind of some rash. And most of the time, people will go to some pharmacy and apply some OTC products. That is one thing has to be stopped. Now, any rash which does not go at least within 3 to 4 days could be a fungal infection. So the main
Mhm.
thing is not to apply anything and the location. So fungal infections normally appear on areas where there is a lot of sweating. So it could be your underarms, it could be between the thighs, any of the areas where there is sweat accumulated. Having said that, it can also appear anywhere on your face, on your nails, which are very common, even on the scalp, especially in children. So we see it all
Okay.
over the body. So I would say any rash which is itchy, lasting for more than 3 days, you have to rule out a fungal infection.
Okay. Right. So this is a little introduction about fungal infection. So one can identify that if the rash is there more than 3 to 5 days old, so one should consider it a fungal infection. But once the fungal infection is detected, how to take care of fungal infection? How to tackle the same?
Yeah. So first of all, I would say get it detected by a certified dermatologist, not by
Hmm.
any random friend or anybody says, oh, this could be a fungal infection. So it's very
Yes.
important to get the diagnosis right. So we normally clinically diagnose it by just seeing it or examining. In case we are not sure, we can do something known as a KOH. So we just take a little bit of scraping of the skin and we look at under the microscope using the KOH mount. If that also does not give us a clue, we could do dermoscopy where we put like a camera on the skin and we could diagnose it. Even if that
Okay.
is not, we are not sure, we could still go ahead and do a fungal culture. So once we diagnose it, we want to know whether it is a superficial infection, whether it is in your subcutaneous, or whether it is a deep infection. So if it's a very
Okay.
superficial infection, it started very few days, it could just be treated with a very topical cream, like, just a regular cream. If we notice that it is a little bit of a subcutaneous infection or it has widespread over your body, we like to do a systemic treatment. So some tablets along with the creams. So that's the broad line. And of course, if it is a systemic where it has involved your organs, if the patient is immunocompromised, diabetic, or anything, very rarely you might need even injectables to be treated.
All right. So fungal infection, if not treated in initial cases, initial stages, it can really worsen.
It can definitely. So the
Okay, right.
timely treatment and diagnosis is very
Hmm.
important.
Absolutely. So all kind of superficial fungal infection may result in systemic fungal infection or not.
No, not necessarily. So important things are what kind of an infection it is. So which is the species of fungus which has been you have been infected with. The secondly is your status. So if you are immunocompromised, you're on any high dose steroids or any kind of
Hmm.
tablets which is suppressing your immune system, then that should be treated immediately. Secondly, if you're highly diabetic or you have some kind of other health ailments, cardiac problems, so those cases also you should treat it because that could lead to something a little bit more serious.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so doctor, this was about how to detect fungal infection.
Yeah.
Once the person knows that he or she is having fungal infection, what would be the first advice you give to your patients? How to manage fungal infection at home?
Yeah. So the first thing when any patient comes after we have diagnosed the patient has fungal infection, and once we had kind of decided what treatment we want to go about with it, the first thing I also tell them to go home and check if anybody else has got the infection because even they need to be treated. Because a lot of times a patient gets healed and then there's a reinfection because the patient has got infected by one of the family members. So that is very
Okay.
important. The second thing is to stick to the treatment. So a lot of times
Hmm.
patients start with the treatment and within few days they feel that the rash is gone, they stop the treatment. So that definitely
Yes.
is going to cause the infection to come again. So they have to continue with the creams. We tell the patients for at least 2 weeks after the infection has gone. So once you feel your rash has cleared, you have to still continue with the creams for at least 2 weeks. Of course, the tablets have to be taken as long as the doctor has told you to take. That is the second thing. The third thing is, of course, using a good soap and having a proper bath. So, daily bath, if possible, twice a day, but at least once a day, and changing all your clothes. Avoid keeping yourself wet for long. So, especially after you go to the gym or after you have had some kind of a sweaty day, see that you come home, have bath, and change your clothes into dry clothes. Because, of course, the humidity and the dampness of the clothes can increase the infection. I also advise patients to avoid having a lot of sugary diets because a lot of times the sugar in our diets could also enhance the infection. So just keeping the
Okay.
sugar a little bit on the lower side also helps. Lastly, is also doing some hygiene practices of not sharing the towel with other family members. See that your soap is separate. If possible, washing the clothes with hot water or not together because there's a lot of cases where there is reinfection which can take place. Those are some advices I give the patients
Hmm.
which is along with the treatment. So sticking to the treatment is very important and see that
Yes,
you take the
absolutely.
treatment properly. That is very, very important.
Okay, right. So this was a generalized thing about any fungal infection a patient might have and what actual guidelines they should follow.
Yeah.
But let's start with infections seen in children, mainly scalp fungal infection. So, how is this different from other superficial fungal infections?
Yeah, so for children, the infection is a little bit on the different as well as the treatment. So kids normally they do get the body the regular fungal infections. So basically,
Mhm.
just broadly to be specified, when you talk about superficial infection, the fungal infection, there could be three types. So one is what we
Okay.
call as the dermatophytosis or the tinea, or common people call the ringworm. They get like the circular
Hmm.
infection, which is quite common. The other one is something what we call as pityriasis versicolor. So that we normally get like small white patches or it could be brown patches, and it does not cause mainly any itching. So that could be on
Hmm.
your back, it could be on your chest, face, any part of the body. Lastly, there's something known as candidiasis, which is another type of a infection. So that normally happens in your mouth, it could be in your vaginal areas, it could be anywhere internal body mostly. So where you get this
Okay.
white patches on your mouth or even in your nose, that's very common in immunocompromised patients. So coming to the
Right.
ringworm infection, in kids we normally see it on the scalp as well, where it goes undetected most of the time. So it gets detected is only when sometimes the patients do notice they getting a hair loss, like find there's a loss of hair, like a patchy hair loss. So once
Yes,
we go and
yes.
check it, we come to know it's actually what we call as tinea capitis, that is the scalp fungal infection, which is seen mostly in children.
Hmm.
So I would say any kind
So,
of patchy hair loss has to be evaluated. So sometimes you think it is alopecia, but that's a different topic altogether. But definitely it should
okay,
not be self-medicated and it has to be diagnosed correctly.
okay. So, is dandruff also a fungal infection?
So the thing is, dandruff is more towards the yeast infection, I would say, but sometimes it can get super infected with your fungal infection. So on a
Okay.
broader term, it is you can consider it in one of the basket.
All right. Okay. So this ringworm infection or the infection in scalp, which is especially seen in children, what's the treatment for that? Is it different from what you prescribe to adults or the same?
Yeah, definitely. So the topical would be the same. We would normally prescribe them some kind of ketoconazole shampoo or some cream.
Okay.
But the oral treatment, what we give for kids, we do not give the regular tablets or the syrups what we would give adults. For children, we normally start some syrups of griseofulvin. So that is more safer in children because of the mechanism of action. So that the mechanism of action of that is mostly inhibiting the microtubules. So it kind of affects in a different way and it prevents the infection in the new keratin. So the newly formed hair, the newly formed skin, the newly formed nails, it affects that. So that works very well for children. So griseofulvin is a drug of choice for fungal infections in children.
Right, right. Okay. So is there any age-related predisposition for fungal infection, or it can affect people of any age?
Yeah, so having said that, fungal infection could be from a newborn to a very old elderly patient. So the newborn mostly get the infection, of course, from their caregivers because it is very contagious. It could be spread with contact. So we see
Okay.
infections from very young to very old. Of course, the distribution of the infection, the presentation is different, but anybody could be contacted with the fungal infections.
Right. Okay. So now let's talk about fungal infection in nails. How is it different from skin fungal infection?
Yeah, so the nail fungal infection, normally the appearance of it is also different. A lot of time you may not get any itching at all in the nail, so it goes unnoticed. Especially in ladies who wear a lot of nail polish, they may not know that they have a fungal infection until and unless they go and remove the nail polish. So it could start like a small white patch. It could start that white patch turning into a yellow patch. Sometimes it could be a brown. Sometimes it goes unnoticed till the patient notices that the nail has turned black, and that's when they come for treatment. Even you may see that the nail is becoming more thicker. So, one thing about any discoloration in the nail could be a fungal infection, which we call as onychomycosis. Does not present with any kind of itching. Normally, it is painless, but of course, because of super infection, it may get a little bit pain experience, maybe there. It's very common nail infection. I would say 1 in 10 patients do have onychomycosis. That's because of we keep washing our hands, especially the housewives. They do get it because of constant, the nails being wet for a long time, or even
Yes.
especially during the monsoons where we are wearing our feet are kind of exposed in the rainwater for a long time. It's very common.
Yes. Okay. Right. Some people also have a problem of ingrown nails. So
Yeah.
are they prone to get nail infections other than the normal people?
Yeah. So ingrown nail, the patient is more so it's basically the nail is more exposed. So any the fungal infection, which some people it would probably not infect them. For anyone with an ingrown nail, he's more predisposed to it. So because of the
Okay.
cavitation which is formed and the increased keratin, it is more predisposed. So anyone with ingrown, it mostly goes hand in hand. So there is ingrown nail and there is onychomycosis together.
Okay. Right. So some people having conditions like diabetes or who are taking medicines for blood pressure or any heart diseases or who have recently undergone surgery, they are either immunocompromised or already on medication. So let's talk about diabetic people. They also have a tendency once they get hit by something in their feet or nails. So it gets very long for that thing to heal. So,
Yeah.
do they get fungal infection frequently, especially diabetic people?
Yes, of course. So diabetes increases not just the fungal infection of the nails, but all over the body. So I would say prevention is always better than cure. So anyone who knows that they are immunocompromised, it's always better to have a check. So like
Hmm.
not if not daily, at least once in a while, they should check their nails. See that the nails, even the webs of our fingers, we tell them to keep it dry because the more they are wet, we get another infection known as intertrigo, which can be superimposed by your fungal infection. So keeping the nails,
Okay.
keeping the web spaces dry is very common. So diabetic patients are definitely more prone to not just onychomycosis. We see a lot of even the infection is spreads very fast, and the treatment for them takes a very longer time also to for them to
Yes.
get healed.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, talking about treatment, you said fungal infections can be treated by topical applications or sometimes antifungal treatments like antifungal tablets. But
Yeah.
some people also think that taking antibiotics will cure their fungal infection. Is it
Yeah.
true? Any kind of antibiotics treat fungal infection?
No, so orally, no antifungal could definitely treat the because the whole mechanism of antifungals and your antibiotics work completely different, and the causative agent is only different. So that is one thing the
Okay.
patient should be aware of by taking. A lot of times, when I'm prescribing, they'll say, "But I've already taken antibiotics." So
Hmm.
definitely does not work, and especially most I would say of the patients before they come to a dermatologist they would have applied some kind of cream, some kind of over the counter creams. And once that does
Yes.
not work, it's that is the time they come and get it checked. So that also kind of delays the whole treatment and it takes a longer time for the infection to go. So it's kind of it becomes a really tricky situation that time.
Right. Absolutely. So, doctor, which is the most serious kind of fungal infection?
Yeah, so the systemic fungal infections, as I mentioned before, not the superficial one, which could infect any of your internal organs, that is very serious. So even you get the systemic candidiasis, where we see it in patients who are retroviral patients or anything like that. So they are really serious. So it could affect your esophagus, and then there's a whole like lot of deep infections which we see, which kind of it's very rare to be honest, but they could be serious. The superficial infections, what we see, like the fungal, the ringworm infection, it does not affect our health on a daily basis, but definitely the skin suffers. So even sometimes
Okay.
after the infection is there for prolonged time and people don't get it treated, it leaves marks. So what we call as the
Yes.
post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So that remains
Okay.
if you're not treating the infection properly. But the systemic
Okay.
fungal infections, they could be life-threatening as well.
Right. Okay. So, what is the maximum time period of treatment of fungal infection? How long one should keep taking antifungal medications?
Yeah, so the topical creams, what we give, that has to be, as I said earlier, 2 weeks after you have noticed that the rash has cleared. So if you have applied the cream for 4 weeks, you will continue using it for another 2 weeks, so a total of 6 weeks. Now, the oral
Okay.
tablet, it really depends on what kind of infection and how much it has spread. For your nail infections, the tablets be for a longer time. So minimum you have to take it for a month. It can go up to 6 months also, depending on how
Okay.
serious it is. But if it is your skin infection, it normally goes within a month. So we normally prescribe it for 20 to at least 2 months maximum. I see a lot of improvement with that.
Okay. Right. 6 months is really a long time. So, people might also think that taking medication this long may cause them side effects. So, is it really safe if a person takes medicines for 6 month long period?
Yeah, so when I said 6 months, it's not for all the patients, it's mostly for the nail
Yes.
infections. Those patients
Okay.
may require, especially diabetic patients and all that. But yeah,
Hmm.
generally they are very safe. We only normally see that after 3 months, we may do a slight blood test just to see the renal parameters, the liver parameters. But on a broader spectrum, they don't have any major side effects. So slight headache, GI disturbances, that is normal, but nothing which is going to, cause a lot of harm or anything.
Hmm.
So we normally weigh
Right.
the benefits versus the harm. If the patient is really suffering, there's a lot of pain, then we do have to prescribe it for a longer time.
Okay. Can a pregnant woman take antifungal medications, or is there any side effect of that?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Yes. Can pregnant women take antifungal medications?
Yeah, so when you talk about pregnancy, no, we normally do not prescribe the oral tablets for the patient. So at least in
Okay.
my clinic, I normally do not give any systemic tablets for pregnancy. We normally start them with just topical treatments to at least till their pregnancy is over. So any topical treatments are safe, but I would definitely avoid as much as possible the oral tablets.
Okay, right. Sometimes many of the people have noticed that once they get a fungal infection or once they get a little rash, they get it treated or apply some topical ointment or cream, and it goes away. But then after some time, they it appears again. It appears again and again. So why do fungal infection occur again and again very frequently?
Yeah, so the first thing is the diagnosis. So, whether the diagnosis was done earlier or not. The second thing is most of the time the patients do apply some kind of steroid containing combination creams, which changes the whole morphology of the cream, the sorry, the infection. So they feel like it is improving, but the infection is growing a lot from inside. So they get this temporary relief and then they stop the cream, and then after that it comes even more bigger. So that takes a very long
Okay.
time to heal. Even the topical treatments, what we give, most of the patients are not very compliant with it because I do understand that they have to keep applying it daily. So they apply it till
Right.
they feel it is gone and they stop it. And as I said, that they have to continue it for at least 2 weeks till it goes. So if they do not do that, it definitely comes back. And there's a lot of cases of reinfection. So if somebody at your workplace has it or somebody at your residence has it, your infection gets cleared and then you can get reinfected by the others. So it's very important that people around you also screen for it and everybody takes the treatment together so that there is nobody's reinfecting anybody.
Right, right. This is the very important point many people miss. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have seen that doctors always tell us that take antibiotic medications and complete the full course. Otherwise, you will get resistance. Is it the same case with antifungal medications? If a person does not complete full course of his or her medication, he or she may get resistant to some ingredients of that drug.
Yes, of course. There's a lot of chances of getting resistance even with antifungal treatment. So people normally it's not even prescribed. They go to the pharmacy and they just take the tablet, and within few days they feel they're relieved, and again the whole resistance starts. So there are already certain drugs, which one of the drug like your terbinafine, which we've been using it for a very long time. A lot of there are a lot of reports where there's already resistance seen towards terbinafine. So now a lot of doctors have the even if you prescribe it, you will see that the infection is not improving, and then we have to go to the other azole group of drugs. So terbinafine has already seen a lot of drug resistance. So answering your question is, of course, there is drug resistance even with antifungals.
Okay, right. Doctor, you have years of experience treating various kind of patient, not just skin problems, but problems including nails or regarding hair. But how one can prevent having ringworm infection frequently on their feet, especially as the monsoon season is coming. So we may get wet feet, we may get wet shoes, and we have to work the entire day wearing the same shoes. So how one can prevent getting ringworm infection on their feet frequently?
Yes, yeah. So that's very important. So as I said, the prevention is, the key. So firstly, see that you invest in proper rain footwear. So like the footwear is very important. You should see that the footwear is specially designed for the monsoon so that it dries fast. If you are going to be with regular shoes which are wet for a long time, especially with socks, there's no doubt you are going to get the infection. So one is the footwear has to be correct. The second thing is again keeping your feet as dry as possible. So if at workplace, if possible, if you can dry it or as soon as you come home, see that you have a bath, wash your feet properly, and then just keep your feet dry. So wipe it properly, and again examining it. So see that you examine your feet whether you can see anything. And also, what also helps is using a good moisturizer on a daily basis. So using a moisturizer at least at night before bed, that will help in keeping the skin barrier also intact because any skin which has cracks or any skin which is more dry is more prone to any infection. So keeping a healthy skin is also important. So I would say one is using a good footwear, the other is inspecting your feet, third is keeping your feet dry, and lastly using a good moisturizer. By doing these simple tricks, you can definitely prevent, at least to some extent, from getting infected.
Okay, right. Some people may also think that wearing their shoes without socks may, uh, it will be a little comfortable, especially during the monsoon season, because if the socks and shoes both get wet, it is really uncomfortable. So some people may avoid wearing socks and just wear shoes. So is it really safe, or should we do that?
Yeah, so if you're wearing a rain footwear, then obviously you're not going to wear socks. But if you're wearing your normal shoes, I normally tell my patients to carry an extra pair of socks if possible. Because
Okay.
in case the socks get wet, then you have to change it. Because wearing your damp socks for a very long time could definitely infect you. But again, avoiding the socks altogether could cause even more problem because you're directly with that wet shoe and you really don't know what infection the shoe has contaminated also. So the socks give you some prevention, but provided that they are dry. So as much as possible, if your workplace allows you to avoid wearing the shoes during the monsoon, that's the best thing. But in case you really can't avoid it, carry an extra pair of socks and wherever possible, just try to change, I would say.
Right. Okay. So many people do gym activities, or many people are in sports activities throughout the year. They sweat a lot and they may get fungal infection. So, what would be your advice for, especially for gym goers, so that they can get very healthy skin and they don't get fungal infection frequently?
Yeah, so the thing is, the first thing I would say whenever you enter the gym is that you wipe down the equipment with some kind of, the antiseptic wipes because you really don't know who has used the previous equipment. So just that won't prevent 100%, but it will give some kind of decrease in, the
Hmm.
contamination. So wipe down the equipment, that is one thing. The second thing is as soon as you come back from the gym, don't avoid going to some other place or, going out, come directly home, or if possible if the gym has a shower, then do take a shower properly. See that you change your clothes after taking a shower and keep yourself dry. The other thing is also avoid wearing the dry fit clothes for a very long time. So many times people know that they are going to the gym in the evening, they start wearing the dry fit clothes from morning. So that itself could, cause a lot of sweating. There's no much of breathability in this fabric, which
Hmm.
could cause more infection. So as soon
Okay.
as just use the dry fit clothes only during the gym hours or during the workout, especially when the weather is more on the humid side. Don't avoid using it for long terms, I would say. And after coming back, use a proper antiseptic soap or your antifung, anything which has ketoconazole. Take a bath, dry yourself, put those clothes to wash. Definitely don't wear them again. Two simple tricks could definitely prevent anybody. And again, keeping your diet very well. So the more your immune system is high, the more your body is going to prevent from getting an infection. And again, I always tell patients to use a moisturizer, not just to prevent the fungal infection, just to improve the overall health of your skin.
Okay. But many people may think that, okay, I'm going out and it's raining, so I don't have to apply moisturizer because it will just, it'll get washed away with water. Or they are feeling already so much sweaty, so they don't feel like applying moisturizer. So is it a good thing to consider, or they should apply moisturizer?
Yeah, so not necessary they should use the moisturizers before going out. They can use it at night. So just once a day, just before going to bed, if you use the moisturizer, that also helps. That's basically that we get a lot of good moisturizers. We have a 24 hours effect. So just using it before bedtime also is fine. During the day, if it is uncomfortable, they can avoid it during the day, not necessary during the day.
Okay, right. And uh, talking about sunscreen, mostly people have started using applying sunscreen every day. So is there any role of sunscreen in decreasing fungal infection or preventing one from getting fungal infection?
Yeah, so the thing is, it really depends. I would say there's no kind of any studies which show that 100% using sunscreen is going to kind of decrease the effect of fungal infection. But again, the sunscreen does help in you preventing from any kind of sunburn or any kind of sun rashes or anything which basically could make your skin more prone to the infection indirectly. So it may not have a
Okay.
effect directly, like sunscreen on your antifungals, but
Hmm.
indirectly it definitely helps. So it will help in kind of maintaining your skin barrier. So that in turn could give your skin a little bit of a less chance to get infected, but not directly. There's no studies as such.
Okay, right. As we talked about gym goers and them not getting fungal infection, some people also gets involved in water activities throughout the year, like swimming, or some people like to visit water parks frequently, and they might get fungal infection sometimes. So, which are the ways that one should consider while going into swimming pool or going into public water parks?
Yeah, so when going to the pool or the water parks, definitely wearing proper swimwear because it would dry your skin faster. Wearing any cotton clothes and going to a water park, that again would keep your body wet for a very long time. So the clothing is very important. Again, taking a shower as soon as possible because the chlorine in the water could again damage the skin, which may make it more prone to getting infected with fungal infection. And of course, sharing the
Okay.
same pool with others again increases the chances a lot for the fungal infection.
Hmm.
So taking a shower as soon as you come back and again inspecting your skin. So even by chance you see some kind of rash, getting it treated immediately, you may not require even any tablets. It's just some creams, you may be fine. So doing that, and I would say if you know that you sweat a lot or your body is damp on a regular basis, using a dusting powder on a regular basis also for people who kind of engage in a lot of sports helps. So using any dusting powder which has got like a antifungal agent like your ketoconazole, that would also help with a lot of things. So I would say using good skin, the practices what we say. So like taking a shower daily, inspecting your skin daily, using a good moisturizer, using a good kind of soap. So you need not have to use a lot of these strong soaps because that itself can reduce the microflora of your skin. So using a
Yes.
very mild soap which has less fragrance, that also helps. A lot of people have the mentality, or they use some disinfectant for the fungal infection. Will help? No, it does not help. It makes in fact the matters worse. So do not use any disinfectant in the water or anything. That's not going to prevent you from getting any ringworm. Just taking lukewarm baths with a very mild soap, but see that you're consistent with it. So at least once or twice a day, very important to do that.
Right. Okay. So, if a person gets fungal infection and he or she is having some little kid at home or elderly people at home, so what steps should they take so that no one in the family gets fungal infection or the person himself doesn't get reaffected?
Yeah, so firstly is again getting it tested earlier. So getting it tested, starting with the treatment, so that your soap is separate, your towel is separate. Even while washing the clothes, if possible, you could wash your clothes separate with warm water. That would definitely prevent others from getting it. Before touching anything, see that you wash your hands regularly and sticking to the treatment properly. So see that you follow the instructions properly. That itself could definitely prevent somebody else from getting the infection. And seeing that your diet also is well, eating healthy food, reducing the sugar content in your food, that also helps.
Okay, right. So, what kind of food would you suggest? Any specific foods one should include uh, to get fungal infection cured or to prevent fungal infection?
Yeah, so there's nothing that no superfood that could prevent you from getting it, but definitely anything which has got a higher glycemic index makes you more prone to getting any fungal infection. So avoiding anything with a lot of sugar that could prevent you from getting it, but not that you will 100% not getting, but at least it will be some chances that it will reduce the level of getting it. But there's nothing that you can eat which can prevent it.
Okay, right. So there is no direct correlation with of food to fungal infection
No,
or treating the fungal infection. Okay,
no.
right. We have few questions from our viewers. One of the viewers is asking, can fungal infection affect eyelashes?
Yes, of course, it can affect eyelashes. So sometimes, as I was talking about the tinea capitis, sometimes the fungal infection could definitely affect the whole eye, like what we call a tinea facie, and that could affect the eyelashes, and the patient could also experience some loss of hair over the eyelashes also.
Okay, right. So is the treatment of that different than other fungal infections?
No, so the it definitely would need some tablets. So we would start the patient topical, something to apply. Along with that, we would start the patient on systemic drugs also. So as I said, terbinafine definitely has a lot of resistance. So mostly if the patient is healthy, we normally start the patient of the azole group of drugs. So most commonly is yeah, itraconazole, which we give. Depending on the patient's weight and the severity, we kind of judge the dosage. Also, your fluconazole works sometimes, and then the topical treatments, we depending on how much the body surface area it is spread.
Hmm. Okay. One more question is from one of our viewers. Does vinegar kill fungus?
No, so that a lot of people do experience do these practices, but there is no science or data to kind of back that. So, in my opinion or in my view, I have not seen any benefit of that.
Okay, right. You may have seen patients talk about such things like there are some myths among patients that they may use while treating fungal infection. So, what are those common kinds of myths that you want to burst today?
Yeah, so firstly, I would say that not all kind of rashes is going to be fungal infection. So it could be just a regular rash, or it could be a viral, it could be bacterial. Any rash is not a fungal, or any rash is not a rash. So you have to get it first diagnosed. The second myth is a lot of people feel by they use a lot of kind of some medicinal products. They use antibiotic creams for the fungal infection, and they say that, oh, I've tried using antiseptic, but it did not work, because obviously it won't
Yes.
work. So you need to put use a specific antifungal cream for a fungus. Any other your regular antibiotic creams are not going to work for that. Thirdly, a lot of people put disinfectants on them. So your regular disinfectant, they say that, oh, I used it and the skin burned and went, and now it's come again. So it has not burned and went. It's just you have caused more damage to your skin. So avoid doing using any kind of over the counter or any. My friend gave me this cream which has a high dose of steroid. They would have used that, saying that it has cleared them. Again, that does not work. So avoid taking any advice. Get it treated from an expert, I would say. So don't put steroid creams. Do not put antiseptic creams. Do not put any disinfectant. That is not going to help.
Right. Okay. So it's best that we don't experiment with our skin so that
Exactly.
our skin can get real treatment and doesn't get bad anymore.
Yeah, so the thing is, earlier you diagnose it, the treatment is also shorter, you suffer also less, and you're back to normal. The more you delay the treatment, you apply all this stuff, then you have to take the actual treatment for a longer time, and that leaves with a lot of other kind of, marks or whatever.
Absolutely right. Few more questions. One is, can AC rooms prevent fungal infection?
Not directly. So the thing is, AC rooms would definitely reduce your amount of sweating. So in a way, yeah, you're sweating less, so you're more less chances of getting the fungal infection. So indirectly, if you are in the AC room for a long time, there is a less chance of you sweating. So hence, the fungal infection also will reduce, because the higher humidity is equal to more sweating is equal to more fungal infection.
Right. But you may have seen cases with people who have desk jobs or who have centrally AC houses or cars, and their workspace is also centrally AC, but still they get fungal infection. So why does that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, so that may be not through work. They could be they got the infection from another source as well. So if they are
Okay.
not immunocompromised, they could have got the infection. They could be the source of infection themselves, or it could be they got the infection from any other source. So when they went shopping, or went to a shopping mall and tried on some clothes. So the fungal infection is not only by sweating. You could get it from other, just touching something which has already been infected, wearing clothes which somebody else has just tried, and you wear the same clothes in any mall, that also is a source of the infection. So not only
Okay.
sweating, it could be even like the regular things what we do on a general basis which are ignored. So there's you cannot do everything to prevent the infection, but at least kind of
Absolutely.
using washing your hands regularly, all those hygiene practices can lower the chances.
Absolutely. Right. Vedang Sharma has a question. Can we apply aloe vera gel directly to fungus?
You can apply for the infection. It may give you some cooling effect. It's not going to kill the fungus, but it may give you some temporary relief. So, like a moisturizer, as I said. So it may kind of reduce the itching, the urge to itch it. So there's no harm in using the aloe vera gel, but it's not going to cure the infection. It's just going to give you some temporary relief.
Okay, right. Uh, People these days do a lot of skincare routines, like they use cleansers, serums, moisturizers, then sunscreens. But if the person gets fungal infection on their face, does he or she needs to change such skincare routine, or can follow the same routine after even after
Yeah, so
getting
they
fungal
may not
infection?
stop the routine what they are following, but definitely they'll have to add the treatment of the fungal infection. So the antifungal creams will have to be used along. They can continue using whatever they have been using, but that will not be. So there's no kind of side effects if you use your regular products on the infection. Of course, if you the infection has been there and you have scratched it for a very long time, and that has caused some kind of bruising or abrasions, that while applying your regular skincare may cause a little bit of discomfort. So if you're getting discomfort, avoid it. But if you're comfortable with it, you can continue. But definitely along with that, you have to use your antifungals as well.
Right. Okay. Dr. Tanushka, you shared a lot of information, very useful information with us today on the topic of fungal infection. But before finishing today's session, what would be the piece of advice to our viewers, especially during this monsoon season, so they don't get fungal infection? And even if they get fungal infection, uh, it gets really easy to them. It gets really easy for them to cure it.
Yeah. So I would like to end it by saying that firstly, fungal infection is not anything major or serious, but only if you treat it at the right time, at the right place, basically. So as I said before, the early diagnosis is very important. So as soon as you see
Yes.
anything which looks unusual, which is itchy, please get it treated. See that you take treatment from a registered doctor only. Do not apply any creams over the counters or any friends suggestion of any creams. That's important. Thirdly, taking your bath regularly. Avoid wearing wet clothes. So a lot of times, because of the monsoon and the clothes not drying, we tend to use the same clothes again when they are a little bit on the damp side. So that is definitely
Yes.
increasing your chance of getting an infection. So avoid doing that. Use proper dry clothes. You can just iron the clothes if they are wet. That also helps. Having a good diet, so eat well, drink a lot of water. That increases your immune system, so preventing you from getting the infection. And of course, in case you get it, you have got it already diagnosed, then see that you take the treatment properly. Do not leave it in between because it's going to harm you as well as it's going to harm the people around you. So that's very
Absolutely.
important. So get it treated early, early detection and early treatment. That's very important.
Absolutely, because prevention is always better than cure. And
Yes.
these little hygiene habits, they play a major role in overall health maintenance, not just for us but for our family also. And of
Exactly.
course, diet and adequate water intake, this is really important, especially because our lifestyle is getting very much stressful, and we really forget to drink water, which is a very simple thing to maintain our health and especially our skin health. So this was a really
Exactly.
good advice for our viewers. So thank you, Dr. Anushka Parera, for your valuable time. And it has really been quite an informative session for us, for all of our viewers. And we look forward for many more such sessions in coming times. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you, viewers, for an excellent participation. For more information and updates on skin health and care, stay connected on our Facebook page, All About Skin Wellbeing. We are also available on YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram. Thank you and good day to all. We'll see you very shortly in the next live session. Till then, bye bye and take care.